We got 3DB playing in the color orange as the Ruse. We're here on Basin. On the opposite side, we have Magic also playing as the Ruse, playing as the superior color, playing as teal. We got a Ruse mirror here on our hands.
Yes, we do. And one thing I noticed right off the bat is it's looking like Magic. I'm not sure if the overlay is correct, but investing into 5 scouts right very, very early. So my question there is immediately going to be, is this going to be a pro scouts play now?
It might very well be. In a Ruse mirror, like these deer can become really, really important. And the 5 scout play, it makes so much sense. A hand has 5 fingers. Magic is gonna be able to micro every single one of them.
Yep, it's just as easy as that. You just say it, and it's that easy to be. But we're starting to see the bounty secured, wolves being secured by either player, and those teal and orange scouts just getting as much vision, getting as much knowledge throughout the map as they can.
And look at that. Magic, even when B finds one of his scouts and starts hitting him, Magic, knowing that he has just so many more scouts right now, he's just running past them. He's like, okay, you can't be everywhere at the same time. I'm just going to run past you. I'm going to get the better trade in the end. Now Golden Gate coming out here from both of these players.
Yeah, B though, almost like a minute ahead, I feel like, with this Golden Gate drop. He's already got Wheelbarrow finished as well, so Magic just much later on the age up here, much later overall, due to those 2 extra scouts here. Might end up being, like half a ticket, a little bit of an earlier timing for B with this, so let's see what he can do with this advantage.
Yeah, Wheelbarrow also came in a little bit earlier here for him, but Magic, he's got a good amount of resource in the bank. He's going to be able to immediately click that Pro Scout upgrade. Could also be looking for a second TC, and it looks like he's just pulled villagers over to stone just to speed it. So very likely going to be a 2 TC play here from both of these players.
Yeah, and kind of as I was expecting, Bruce, they love their secondary TCs. Usually they do it with the Kremlin just because they have that extra protection, but no need for the Kremlin when it comes to Empire Wars. That 2 TC timing is just so quick. And B, his is already about halfway up, getting pretty close to finishing. And Magic, he's just going to need one more drop-off. My big question, are we going to see 3 TCs by both of these players?
B definitely already going for the 3rd TC, already has a second one built, still on stone, so 3rd TC, no question about it, is going to be happening here for B. Second TC hasn't even started yet for Magic, so the delay is definitely noticeable here.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, obviously that's where he invested in the pro scouts. The 2 and especially 3 TC play, it costs a lot of food investment over time, and you want to be utilizing all the food out on the map that you can. He's obviously B over here dropping a TC onto the deer, and this might be the first focus from those pro scouts from Magic.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder, Jack. It's time to probably take a quick look at the bounty here that these players have collected so far. What do you think we're gonna see? Looks like it's gonna be 190 here for B. Magic on 305, so that's a good difference there. B is gonna need to kill a boar here if he wants to break into tier number 2.
Yeah, and you can just see how those extra scouts paid off with their investment. Like, yeah, they delayed up his feudal age. Yes, they've delayed up his TC timings a little bit. But the bounty-wise, his villager's working on that a little bit harder, does have that extra tier bonus. And right after finishing that TC from Magic, he immediately is planning on some aggression with double stables.
Yeah, double stables and a blacksmith right off the bat. He did lose one of his scouts, so right now it's 4 to 3 scouts. Pro scouts did come in as well, so it looks like Magic has already sent them out to collect some of the deer. I don't think he's taken any away from B yet, though.
No, it actually looks like those scouts still congregating around his base. So my question is going to be why the ones that are securable from B are just so far away. It takes so much time to end up getting over there, getting back and are around. So is that going to end up being the main focus, or will he just get his own deer first and kind of have that safe food pulled under his TC?
Imagine Magic making like 3 knights, going onto that 3rd TC from B and just distracting the arrow fire and taking the deer away with his scouts.
I mean, that's what I am game for. If we had the roles reverse and it were 3DB being the one who were doing the pro scouts opening, I would 100% be expecting that.
To be or not to be? That is the question here. Also some walls now coming in for B. And age up, that's... Oh no, this hurts. If Magic sees this, and he is gonna see this, he's gonna be behind by so much on this age up. He has no gold in the bank right now. And only half the food that he needs to go up.
Yeah, I mean, at B, he's 3 TC fast castle, and the high trade house, it's such a cool landmark to go with because it provides so much gold immediately. Once you finish it, it's starting to trickle in that gold. It also provides the benefit of increasing the bounty that we were talking about him being low and lacking on, and he can still end up getting the relics as he's the quicker one to castle age. You just need a little bit of wood to drop a monastery once you age up.
Exactly. 10 villager lead now for B with that 30C. Magic now also going to be able to click up with the Abbey of the Trinity. What is this play here by Magic? He's the one going for Pro Scouts. He's the one going for the Abbey. This strikes me as odd, and now he's also going for that second boar, but this means that he will not be able to ever reach bounty level 3.
Yeah, it does just seem odd to me for sure. It's just one that, like, I just was talking about it, why the high trade house was such a benefit for B. It's like you could still get the relics. You get the gold income immediately. And guess what? The gold income that B is already getting from that high trade house, it's probably about 2 relics. So it's like, why would you not think about that for the whole entire course of the game?
This is going to be very rough, and I mean, you don't even get an advantage here right now when it comes to the timing of these warrior monks coming out. B first warrior monk is going to be coming out at pretty much the same time that Magic's warrior monk is going to be coming out. Magic, though, he does have the 3 knights compared to no knight yet from B. First knight is going to be in queue now. And Magic, behind that, he's also starting to make some horse archers.
Okay. The good old OG horse archer play where you're just going to be able to use that micro, use that mobility so well. And once you start getting that knight horse archer mass, it's so hard to deal with overall.
It's going to be a good composition here. First relic has just been picked up by B, though. That must have been one of his safe relic there.
Yep, first relic picked up by Demu. So 1-to-1 as of now. We're about to start seeing the movement out to the other relics that are a little bit more contestable. I will say Magic did get the most contested relic right there, front and center in the mid map.
It looks very likely that this is going to be a 4-to-1 game relic-wise, but 3 relic advantage doesn't make up for 20 villagers that we're closing in on right now. Look at that, though. Like, B is investing a lot into these warrior monks, actually. And these are not the cheap warrior monks. These are the the premium warrior monks that you make from your monastery. They cost 200 gold each. They're not cheap. They are not cheap to make.
Nope, not by any means. Night charges, though, going in on the other side, getting a little bit of extra damage down. And B, no horse archers being thought about whatsoever. It is all knights for him.
Wololo coming in, Knight, making it out alive. Is going to be able to deny the relic there. And with that, it looks like it is going to be a 4-to-1 kind of relic. Actually, B is sneaking the relic in the backside of Magic Space.
Oh my gosh, what a steal. So yes, Magic is able to get this one that B is kind of slowly pulling back to his side, but I believe B has successfully pulled the grand heist.
Oh, that was close. B just tried to immediately yoink that one again, but for all it's worth, Magic went for the Abbey of Trinity, and he is not gonna get a major relic advantage. It's gonna be 3-to-2 relics, but he has the high trade house. Magic definitely took the worst trade-off here in the end.
Yeah, like, yeah, when you think about that extra relic, it is an extra 80 gold for you. You've denied that from your opponent, but you have to think about you don't have any of the income coming in from the high trade house as well.
And behind that, B's right side of the map is pretty secured as well with the walls. 180 gold, yeah, 2 relics pretty much worth of income there. On top of that, also getting the deer, so deer's going to be an additional 10 gold per minute, and 350 food. So that's actually quite a lot of income here for B. Also means that his food transition can be a little bit delayed with all of the extra deer that he's getting.
Yeah, it just makes things that much easier, and his knight number is starting to show some progression here. He's up to 12, Magic's at 7, having a little bit more of the focus on that split army composition with horse archers.
Horse archer play is definitely nice, and it's gonna help him for now. I think Magic should still add a couple more warrior monks with the upgrades, so horse archers can do a lot more damage as well. That's a good fight here. Gonna clean up 4 of these knights from B.
Ooh, 4 knights is not anything to kind of take lightly, as that is a huge pickup there for Magic on his side. But look at the villager count over time. B, that extra TC has been just climbing and climbing and climbing up to 23 extra villagers, and you can see by the income that Vodka was just highlighting, as well as the farm transition that B has been able to make behind this. Not even killing the deer yet.
The macro game definitely looks like it's in B's favor so far. Now, Magic, he does have a good military advantage. The question is he going to be able to use it? And he's going to have to use it fast here. He needs to get some villager kills in if he wants to equalize the villager count anytime soon. Now he's starting to move forward, but at the same time, B also sending units forward. He's sending them straight up to... Why is Magic out on the deer? He got pro scouts. He never used pro scouts.
I am not too sure. Those knights just gonna sit under that wooden fortress. B gonna continue to just produce knights and knights and knights. He's trying to play like a French player over here. 7 more knights in queue, and forces Magic back to try to defend these few villagers under this deer.
This is looking pretty rough right now. Can we check that Magic cancel pro scouts or anything like that? I think he researched it. Can we just
he started it for sure. He must have canceled. He canceled.
Oh, he can't. All right. Okay. That's better then. That's better then. I know that he queued up horticulture and pro scouts, and then he canceled them in order to get pro scouts before horticulture. Looks like he canceled it again. So he didn't at least invest the resource in that. I think that probably happened right as he saw the H up coming in from B. I think then he probably canceled just in order to get this H up in a little bit quicker. Was definitely necessary here. He does still have the military advantage. He's a little bit split off though. Doesn't have his main knights there in that fight. He's gonna be pulling them now. Should be able to win this fight.
The walls though just proving to be so beneficial for B. B is diving in on this other side, and Magic, he's got the horse archers. He's got the extra Saint's Blessing bonus from the warrior monk that was in the fight, but it still looked like B with that knight mass is just proving to be too strong. He's up to 26 knights now.
It's just getting more and more knights, and that with a vastly superior economy as well. Look at that. Magic, he falls back for a second. The second he falls back, B is on it again. Once again gonna be diving onto those villagers on the deer there. That's gonna hurt a lot as soon as Magic realizes that. Actually, it looks like B is not going to go for the aggression. Farm transition also in play for Magic. But the military card, 32 knights.
Look at the income. Look at the income. B is at 2,000 food, 2,000 gold per minute. That's all knights. Meanwhile, Magic, he's not at 2,000 on anything. He's at 1,500 food, 1,200 wood, and 600 gold. He's just not really having that same macro behind. And just B overall game plan just seems to be having that bigger benefit on this Roos Mirror matchup.
Yeah, tier 2 from the bounty system has also come in for B, so he's getting a little bit additional gold right now out of that high trade house as well. Almost 40 knights now. Still has 4 warrior monks, so he could also go for that buff up on his units with the blessing. And yeah, the walls just bringing so much value here for B. It means that Magic is not going to be able to just push in. And look at that, 10 additional knights in the queue. Feels like B could just cancel most of his knights and just go Imperial.
Once you get the Imperial upgrade on that many knights, they are tanks on the other side.
Magic is only just now getting Boyar's Fortitude. B had that for a long time.
Ooh, that definitely, when you are a full cavalry composition, Boyar's Fortitude should be one of your primary focuses early on when it comes to your upgrades. And B, I mean, his unit composition, it's easy, but it is ferocious. TC being dove on, and here comes the Riders of Rohan in orange, diving on the other side of Magic, who's trying to build a keep. I believe keep will end up going up. But what will B do behind this with his Knight Battalion?
It's going to be happening now. Under the keep, just got finished. Gets a little bit of additional damage in there. But look at that, not a single Knight went down from B. He didn't lose a single Knight, but we do see some bodies there from Magic. Actually, one Knight went down. But still, it was a good trade for B, somehow.
And that Knight mass just heading towards the side of Magic. Magic does have all 3 sacred sites and still at half the gold income of B. Shows you just how much of a focus B's putting into this gold because of this Knight production, and he's still being able to defend behind this because of walls, because of just that defender's advantage. Magic going for another dive again. Looks like B might just pull back, might actually give this one up because he is diving Magic. They're going to do a little bit of a base trade. He's probably fine with losing that additional TC as Magic never invested into a third himself.
It looks like B learned a lesson there from Mr. Knights, good unit, and he's making only Knights still. Now we see some Spearmen being produced by Magic. Definitely gonna need a little bit of a counter here to those Knights.
Oh, great pullback by Magic, though, able to dive with more of the numbers. B's rest of the Knights weren't quite here yet, weren't quite grouped together. And he's just getting onto the chase, wants to try to close the gap, wants to get some more damage in, picks up 1 or 2 additional Knights.
I think B is trying to go up to Imperial Age soon. He's pretty much pop cap now. Yeah, he's pop cap. So that's more Knights in the queue. He's only lacking the gold right now. He completely exhausted the 8k gold mine.
He was on so much of that gold, more Knights coming out, transitioning over to a different gold, and I do think you're right. It's going to be Imperial Age next, once he can get that gold reclaimed.
Knights now starting to fight. It's still just so many Knights, but now we see some Spearmen reinforcements coming in as well. No buff yet coming out from Magic on his units. Warmong's just busy healing for now. And with the Spearmen, this looks actually like a good fight for Magic here right now.
Yeah, Spears just provide so much extra support, so much just easy support to take down those Knights once the head-on engagement actually happens. But B, he cleans up the front line. The reinforcing Spears not quite there yet, and they will get chased down as the Horse Archers, they don't want to have to close down. They don't want to have to turn to take this fight now.
Magic, he's not using the Horse Archers to kite on the return. Now goes for the fight again. Does have a small of his own Spears now. 13 Spearmen in the queue still. So there's just so many Knights from B. Also
Spears,
raiding.
Yeah, and Spears starting to be transitioned to by both of these players, so it might just turn into this huge Spearman mass on either side. B taking the fight in the mid-map, taking the fight into the base of Magic as well. Magic's idled. He's at under 100 villagers. Meanwhile, B, he is full boom behind this. There's no way now for Magic to equalize the numbers. It's going to be so hard for him to stabilize.
Almost 50 villager difference right now. Trying to fight under the keep, but the Knights, they're still quite tanky. The keep doesn't do a lot of damage to them right now. That takes so long to kill a single Knight. More Knight raids happening! Magic not able to pay attention to every single one of these Knights being there. And he has to split up his army so much, and it takes so much to like split up your army. So much attention.
Yeah, I feel like this crazy eco difference happened so quickly. Just a few minutes ago, it felt pretty close to even. Same thing with the military, but now B, he still is going to have that eco favor, and the military trades are going to become that much harder for Magic to reboom up.
Yeah, more villagers and more villagers went down. 31 villagers have been killed so far by B, and it definitely shows now, though, the Knight numbers. Or at least the Knights, they do have to fall back a little bit. The issue is here, Magic can't immediately start pushing into B's base, because B is walled on most sides.
B diving into the brace with the Knights. He still hasn't gone up to Imperial yet. Stalls for a little bit and he can. The difference between him and Magic, he's been sitting at max population during all of these fights. Magic, he's struggling. He's trying to just barely stay above the water, struggling to stay afloat over here.
The food economy, it paints a grim picture here. Now archers coming in as well. I feel like as soon as these archers come in, it's going to be near impossible for Magic to really come back into this game. because he can't afford knights again. He can't really afford his own archer play with the amount of wood that he has in the bank right now. And now the high armory is coming in from a position of power.
Yeah, taking the fight while you're going up, this is always one of those golden rules that you're not supposed to do, but it doesn't matter when you're this far ahead. When you've taken this good of trades, when you know your eco is that much further, you can keep taking these fights as you're aging up, as you're continuing to press your advantage.
Couple of mangonels now coming out, and it's in a choke point. B has to fall back here for now. On the fight he wants to take anyways, under a keep. He's content with just pushing Magic back, but now the age-up is coming in.
Yep, Age Up has finished Imperial Age. He's going for a giant wall throughout the right side, the center side, to just secure more of this map control. Upgrades immediately going to be for the Knights. It's been his main focus. We've seen how good he is at microing those Knights, going for the circle, getting on top of those mangonels, circling around spears, doesn't care that it's the counter unit, doesn't care that this might not be the best trade because he has more eco behind.
And now the Streltsy coming out as well. Look at that. Warrior Monk's also in the front line, healing up and actually wins the fight under a keep against the Mangonels, against a composition made of only spearmen. Wins the fight against Magic's units, and with that, Magic, he doesn't have any military, he's behind in tech, and it's just gonna be a swarm coming out from B. Bombard already in the queue.
Yeah, Imperial Age upgrades haven't even finished yet for those Knights, and he was still winning those fights. 7 more Knights in the queue. Again, Magic, he's at 120 population B. I don't think he's dropped below 200 for quite some time, and there, Magic calls it. Game number 1 goes over to 3DB.
That was a really, really intense game. A little bit of a variation there coming up from Magic, going for that 2 TC play, but B, he didn't lose any villagers. I feel like Magic kind of missed the timing, where early on he had a lot of additional military units, and he could have definitely gone for dives on the economy from B. Also, the age up. I'm not sure about that choice going for that play with the warrior monk landmark, and yeah, it just goes to show that really, really hurt him here. B, look at the villager count. It's just so much better for him having all of these additional villagers and just getting so much more income there.
Yeah, there was a time when the Abbey was always the play, but now it is just transitioned to the high trade house. It's so strong in those abilities. Like, yes, you give up the quick, immediately cheaper warrior monks, but it's like drop a monastery, get your relics. Your high trade house is going to be essentially 2 relics into the bank as well as a food resource for you.
Exactly. Just so many benefits from that. Now, there are some really, really strong, unique technologies that you get out of the Abbey, but they weren't really used here. Magic didn't invest too much into these warrior monks. They are quite a bit cheaper. Now we're going to be going into our game number 2 of our set number 2. It's going to be on Kawasan. We're going to be seeing the HRE actually played here against the Abbasid, and I don't think I've seen HRE a lot on Kawasan. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously HRE, it's a civilization you think about when it comes to water in general, but not necessarily Kawasan specifically. Abba, I kind of expect their opening to be very similar to what we saw in Kawasan last series, where it was just an immediate double dock play on either lake. And that way you are able to invest into either of them. You can kind of play into one as more of your strength, more of your eco, and then play into the other as more of like you're countering your opponent's one. So that's where I feel like ABBA does kind of get this extra boost early on. And then behind it, ABBA has a lot of extra kind of bonuses inherently too that leans towards the strength of Empire Wars.
That's true. But the HRE, they do start off with 2 warrior monks, and not warrior monks, but the prelates. And having that extra prelate, maybe, I mean, B would be the kind of guy to go into the Mindwork Palace, right? Like, this is kind of like an opportunity play on this map as well, where you don't immediately go for that kind of like farm setup. You want to have your food economy on the water initially. So I feel like this is probably the best map to go into a Mindwork here. The only issue that I see with that is that Abbasid is gonna have all the tools that they need in order to combat like a kind of a cavalry centric play with their camel riders and their better spearmen.
Yeah, with the mine work though, you will upgrade your spearmen as well with that. What is it? Riveted chainmail. I'm not even sure if that's the actual name because we see mine work so rarely. I actually think I saw that's one of Fitzy here's go to landmarks there, which I always laugh when I end up seeing it as it kind of is a meme landmark, but B has made plenty of meme landmarks into the meta, so could we see the beginning of that here?
Indeed. Roughly a minute remaining until we go into our next game. What other maps do we still have remaining? We still have Dry Arabia, we got Regions, we got King of the Hill. I'm excited for a King of the Hill game. That's gonna be what I want to see.
The King and the Hill games are always the interesting ones. Usually go down to the wire where it's, someone investing so heavily into the sacred site defense and not as much military. And then just, I feel like with the sacred site changes that happened, it might kind of make the gameplay change a little bit when it comes to King of the Hill, but it's always a fun one to watch as well as cast.
Exactly. Now, we're just about to start in our game number 2. Only a little bit, and there we go.
Yep, swapping on over. We are going to be into this game. Number 2, 3DB was able to secure the first one. It's HRE versus Abbasid. It's the color orange versus teal.
Yeah, and we're here on Kawazan. We got 2 pawns right off the bat. Doc's getting dropped immediately. Magic with the Abbasid gets his dock for half cost, so should be able to immediately drop 2 docks. B, on the other hand side, as the HRE, does have that double inspiration from the prelates, meaning that he can also very quickly get the wood that he needs in order to drop another dock.
Yeah, both players going for the double dock opening. Magic already aging up to Culture Wing. He will have to wait that full minute 45 seconds, so it takes a while. And what do you think about the Culture Wing opening for Magic here?
The Culture Wing is such a great choice here when it comes to the wings on water maps for the Abbasid, because you get a much faster castle age out of it. Also, all your upgrades are going to be discounted as well. It just gives you so much value there, and yeah, just great landmark choice here for the Abbasid.
Yeah, we've seen how much people have been prioritizing those eco upgrades like we've been seeing in almost every single game, having Wheelbarrow come out immediately, having Double Broadex come out immediately. Well, now there's going to be that much cheaper. Abba kind of with the Culture Wing, it's almost like they're playing French with their cheaper techs.
Exactly. Having all of these eco techs, not just on land, but also on water, getting the eco upgrades there as well, can make a big difference here as the game goes on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they changed the Culture Wing to also, it includes the age up cost. It's also reduced with the unique upgrade, but I think it also applies to the emplacements on the docks.
Oh, that is something that I didn't know, but I did know about the age up techs, and the tech on the dock is huge because Kawasan, it's a map that we're seeing this location where Magic's dropping these additional docks kind of in the middle of the pond. Once he has the stone to get those emplacements, it does deny the fishing there in the center of the pond.
Yeah, at least we have to check again if it works for the emplacements. I think I heard Valdemar say it, and Valdemar is an avid Abbasid enjoyer, so definitely should check that one out. The upgrade is coming in right away. Galley already out for B. It's going to be able to potentially snipe a villager here if Magic isn't careful. Oh, look at that. Goes right on top of it. Able to two-shot it. Every arrow hits.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you like barrel stuff it, as we would call it in FPS terms, where you're just having where all the arrows are for sure hitting. The fishing boat's having to jump on inside, but Magic quick with his springled ship to pop out. And now the galley forced back home under the dock, but there's no real place for that galley to be safe, at least for now. Villager focused right off the bat. Demo will pop out. Springled ship getting quite low. It will get one shot if that
Oh, it wasn't a placement. Never mind. We thought it was the demo is coming in now. First was the emplacement there.
I could have sworn it was the demo ship that was going to pop out, but double galley out for Magic, starting to focus in on the springled ship on the other side of the water.
Springled ship actually targeting one of the... Oh, Looks like it's gonna be a 1-for-1. No, man! No, man!
Everything's gone.
Oh no. Well, that hurts.
He's still trying to defend up against the Springle Chip with 2 galleys. Does have his dock in placement, so just needs to stall as long as possible, and stall he does. Springle Chip goes down, fishing ship heading back to his side, and dock emplacements have finished, I think, for either player on the on that lake.
Yeah, no additional emplacements coming out on this one as well. That was a good value demo ship there, I would say, that we just saw.
Definitely a high value demo ship. At this point, though, it's almost like there's been no water investment at all by either of these players. Magic's the only one fishing, and he's barely fishing at that with 2 fishing boats over there.
Look at that. That galley is going to get sniped out by the emplacement there. I mean, there's only 1 dock up right now for B. Oh, demo ship. Gets a kill there. There's only 1 dock up for B on this pond here, which kind of makes you think that you could possibly argue that it could potentially be worth... Oh. It's gonna go down. It could potentially be worth it just investing into like 4 or 5 demo ships just to take down the dock and take full and complete control of that pond.
Yeah, once you get the docks denied, villagers, they're not going to be able to come back and rebuild a dock because of the amount of vision that docks and ships provide. You're just going to have a galley or 2 constantly, you know, walking back and forth. But B, he's not even in a good position here in this bottom pond either. So single dock up in the north and double dock in the south. But you can see he's like corralled over in the corner, is stuck there with not a lot of room to move out.
None of these players so far have invested anything into military on land. He's got a lot of hulks out right now. 3 hulks at one of those ponds. Could potentially look to just try and mass up enough hulks in order to take down the docks with the emplacements on water.
But look at the resources in the bank for Magic. He's slowly building up for Castle Age, it seems like. You know, he's been defending this up. They've kind of both been trading back and forth, but Magic just a little bit closer to being able to make that click early.
It comes so naturally being able to get all of these discounts on the eco-tax. And oh my god, the demo! Oh god, okay, that's one. That pond, that was such a great demo shot there. That pond is now completely secured for Magic. There is no way that B is going to take that one back after just losing 3 hulks like that. And Military Wing is coming out.
Yep, and that Military Wing timing, it's a great time to click. We just saw a huge demo come in. You just mentioned how that water or that pond is essentially secured for the most part. Fishing ship, I don't know, is the one you want to be making out of that dock. But once the military wing comes through, you get those camels, but you could already see the men-at-arms, the Gulam prep starting for Magic.
Oh, another demo ship. Not going for it this time. Oh, opposite pond. There's still fights happening. Agla is getting repaired.
Pulling the fishing boats to repair that, and I believe, again, he's going to stall it out long enough to take down both of 3DB's fishing boats, and hasn't been able to deny the dock yet, but has been able to take down quite a bit of resources when it comes to the boats.
Yeah, look at the destruction value, and now B is pushing forward, but there is a demo ship. It's not getting focused. It might get a connection there. Yeah, that should be at least a 1-for-1 trade. Oh, not quite.
He went for the wrong one.
Yeah, that one's just gonna get healed up again.
The fishing boats, though, they're not able to work for Magic, so the eco number up at the top, somewhat deceiving, as there were about 6 fishing boats there that have been idled for a good bit of time. They've been healing. They have not been fishing. Another demo out, though. B not able to pay attention to all these different spots, and the demo takes down one of the Springolds.
Yeah, this is gonna become pretty tough here rather soon, because now Military Wing is about to finish. B, where's he getting his food from right now? He still needs a little bit more food in order to click up.
And look at this timing, though. B might be able to click up, but 4 barracks are in queue, already producing those gulams. So B's about to be able to start building his landmark. He actually has to build his, though. He has to pull villagers off, which means harder for him to hold both of these pawns and hard for him to hold this gulam mass that should be headed towards his base soon.
4 gulams already out. Bootcamp not been clicked yet, but could actually, has he clicked bootcamp yet? No, bootcamp isn't in yet, so no bonus HP on these gulams yet. Could come in at any moment though. Is getting some additional blacksmith upgrades right now instead. Already starts with 2 camel riders as he aged up with a military wing, so already has military units out there. And look at that, he's immediately going to be able to completely deny the wouldn't come here from B.
Yep, and that makes it so hard for B to actually stabilize, actually hold these lakes, hold these ponds. And if you all of a sudden fully lose out on a pond, I mean, that's where we've seen it time and time again when it comes to water in Age of Empires 4. Great denial here by Magic on the eco.
I think it's checkmate. I believe it's checkmate at this point in time. The units, they're flooding, and it's not just gulams, he's also making crossbows. So even if B gets out his own men-at-arms, Magic is going to have a perfect response for that.
Yeah, and he actually chose spears to start off, and gulams against spears absolutely demolish them. Gulams under the main TC, B not yet reacting. Magic having the invisible gulam raid and doing exactly what he needs to do to equalize the series.
Yeah, that's just over. The villager's not garrisoning. I mean, he needs the food right there. He has no other way to get food right now. If he doesn't have food here, he's not going to be able to make any military on land. And it looks like B once again tries to go for a push on water. On the bottom dock. On the bottom lake. So at least get that. He has 4 demo ships in queue right now. He wants to take that dock. He needs to get water there. Oh, there's so much military on land out right now.
Yeah, he has more problems to deal with at home. Lost plenty of villagers under the main TC. Camels are back at that gold, back at the other wood line he had to fall back to. Nowhere to go. He's just trying to gather the gold as best he can, and the next mass of gulams comes forward. The number's up to 14. B, he needs to somehow hold this, and I don't see how.
B has invested into Landsknechte, but Landsknechte, they don't have, like, without Imperial upgrades or without Blacksmith upgrades, they actually don't do too much damage against the 4 melee armor here from the Gulams. Actually, 5 melee armor.
And the prelate falls, and B falls with it. Game 2 going over to Magic, who equalizes this series, was able to take down HRE and shows that Abba was just a little too solid.
Yeah, Abba, definitely. Probably being like the Civ that's just the best on hybrid maps like these. The transition into Castle Age is just really, really solid. We see here the village recount towards the end. Lots of idle time there as well that wasn't really shown in this graph. And let's take a look at the economy count, because, I mean, there wasn't that much play when it comes to the fishing ships, but the fishing ships that were there were more for Magic, and we can see that there was a constant lead there when it comes to the eco count.
Yeah, even though it's just barely, it kind of started to expand there, and you can just tell before that pre-Castle Age spike. That's why Magic had so many more resources. That's why he was able to click up while still having the same numbers, while still able to hold both of the lakes. And kind of, I felt like the whole time it was just these crazy back and forth on the lakes, but no one ever actually solidified it to where they could boom up their eco and safely gather that fish.
Yeah, exactly. Now military count on land, just pure escalation there, being able to completely overrun B. And that means that we're now going to be having a 1-1 set. Next one, it's just around the corner. Going to be interesting to see what we're going to be seeing there. This time, it is B who gets to choose the map that they're going to be playing on. And it's going to be Dry Arabia. So Magic, he actually chose Kabusan, the home map from B, for the second game. This one's going to be fought out on Dry Arabia, and it's going to be Ottomans versus Malians. That's a very, very interesting matchup. I've not seen that one in Empire Wars, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it sparks to my recent memory for Empire Wars, but it is one that's always fun to watch. As Mali, they will have to invest a little bit in to defend those pit mines, as that seems to be the focus. I mean, obviously it's always in ones, but it seems to be an even bigger focus in Empire Wars. It's almost every Civ dropping a barracks, immediately running towards that initial pit mine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this matchup, I think I've seen like 3 times in Call to Arms in the last tournament from EGCTV, but that was a normal game. And this is going to be Empire Wars, so might potentially be a shift there. It was very even every single time in Call to Arms. Gonna be interesting to see how even it's gonna be here in Empire Wars. And yeah, I mean, Ottomans from B, that's gonna be an exciting one. Maybe we could see some fast Imperial or something like that, or just an Imperial play with like mass Janissaries, something like that. Great Bombards, definitely nice to see. And Malians, probably the typical cowboy. And Sloan Runner coming in with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've got roughly a minute left until we're going into our next game here in the second set of the day. We still have plenty more in the tank for you guys. There's still plenty of sets left to go. And yeah, just happy to be here. Happy to be casting with you, Dabston. And don't forget, we do have our Empire at War community support goal there in the bottom right-hand side. You can support EGCTV over here on Twitch by gifting subs, donating, cheering, everything. Every little bit helps. But we also now have a Patreon. So if you want to help out EGCTV further, do head over to the Patreon, !Patreon, in the chat. And yeah, we got some really, really cool prizes there in the Patreon, or rather like some rewards that Patrons do get. There are more in the works, so we're trying to think of some ways to give back to the community there for supporting EGCTV over on Patreon. Do make sure to check it out because every little bit helps. Supporting EGCTV means you're supporting the entire Age of Empires 4 tournament scene.
Yeah, it's definitely the best way to support the scene, keep up to date with all the news, all of the action, everything going on. It's a one-stop shop, and the Patreon is where you want to be. But next, we have game 3 in store for us here right now in front of us. So let's go ahead and jump on into that.
And here we go. In the color orange, once again, as the Ottomans. On the opposite side, in the color teal, we got Magic playing as the Malians. This is going to be Dry Arabia, so your standard kind of map. B as the Ottomans immediately gets that military school in Empire Wars. Magic as the Malians already has a pit mine, fully kitted out with all of those houses. And B doesn't just start with his free spearmen, he's pumping up even more spears. He's immediately going for his own barracks.
Yeah, and this doesn't surprise me at all. It's one that I definitely expected Auto to drop the barracks. I expected Magic to react with the Donzos that we've been seeing. We've seen in the previous matchups that they'll get outnumbered, but the Donzos just having the extra spear throw, having that defensive nature because they're going to be massing up at home, they've usually been able to at least hold for long enough without too much damage coming out, especially when you have this far back gold behind your base.
Yeah, it's a very, very defensive gold here for Magic. Means that even if B invests a lot in the Spearman right now, he's very unlikely to get a lot of damage out on the houses for Magic. So very good gold spawn for him there. Do note the second gold spawn is also a little bit to the side, but he does have the option of going for a third gold all the way back in his corner. So very good spawn here for Magic as the Malians.
And the Donzo, the first 2 spears were able to have a nice little circle around the tree. They did the little dance, but B does spot him out. He actually pulls back one of the spearmen, wants to be able to take, or both of the spearmen, wants to be able to take these trades and try to have that first Donzo proven to be ineffective and just have it to where Magic can never really rebuild those numbers up and take good trades.
H-up, it's going to be coming in for both players. We got a Twin Minaret Madras for B, so it's going to have a good food economy there. And the Manza Quarry for Magic. Good gold income there. Both players now also grabbing Wheelbarrow here. Eco upgrades. We've seen time and time again. Very important in Empire Wars. You have all of these additional villagers, so boosting them up with a bit additional technologies, always worth it.
Yeah, it's also one of those that I find, like, while you're aging up to feudal, you have so many villagers and you don't really have stuff to spend your resources on, or stuff I should say you want to spend your resources on. So a great way to do that is just, you're like, well, why not just give yourself more resources for the future?
Exactly. Double Broadex immediately coming in here now for Magic. No additional upgrades yet queued on B's side. Wondering if maybe he's already building his next military school, as he is currently gathering some stone. Yep, military school coming in, archer range and stable also coming in. So it's going to have one of each production buildings. Does make you think that he's very likely going to be putting up a lot of aggression in the feudal age, but at the same time gathering with a lot of villagers, so maybe also a second TC on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely think against Mali, especially, that you would see Otto going for a little bit of this kind of feudal all-in pressure play. You'll see B going into Sapahi. He is one to utilize mobility, probably one of the most effective players at utilizing just mobility in general and the micro with it.
Yeah, and having a second TC against Malians definitely adds a lot of value as well, because they're going to be making cattle, they're going to be scaling that way, and you want to have some way to at least scale with it.
Yeah, if not, as the game would continue to extend, you're just going to, even if you take some good military trades, you're just going to slowly fall behind in the macro, in the eco deficit. And AoE4, it's such a macro-based game that you really have to focus on your eco very heavily.
Right, first couple archers now coming out. Magic, only Donzos so far, but Donzos in high numbers are able to one-shot an archer every now and then with their spear throw, if they do have enough. Now, with the archer count, should have enough to fight against those Donzo. 3 Sapahi, probably all from the military school. 1 very likely from the stable that he added. Just gonna try and scale his army for now.
Yeah, kind of just waiting to start moving forward with that mass until he can take some good trades. He knows on the other side, Magic, investing heavily into that cattle. Mali, they give up a little bit of early tempo for that to build up later on. And we're already seeing that third cattle ranch getting pretty close to having the cows inside it finished on up here, as B is now at the base of IamMagic. Spearman raid goes in on the wood line. We see 1 villager go down and a second fall with it.
Yeah, so 2 villager kills here from B, also causing a good bit of idle time there. Meanwhile, Magic had his entire army there in the back.
Oh, took out a scout.
He's going to be able to collect those sheep. And yeah, it's 1,000 food, so nothing to sneeze at all. Second TC now coming up here for B. Magic already has a couple of cattle in his ranches, so eco situation looking good right now for either player. Look at that, actually, cattle scaling already well on its way.
Yeah, it is very, very beneficial. Even though the villagers, they don't matter as much for Mali. They get a lot of their eco from other places. It does matter a lot when it's this early, because it makes that transition into the cattle boom that much harder. You really have to focus on certain priorities. Another Sapahi raiding that wood line and might not have killed anything, but again, having those villagers repositioning, having to idle 20 villagers for 10 or so seconds is a huge, huge benefit for him.
Yeah, and B's always just checking Magic if he's paying attention. Every second that Magic isn't paying attention, there is the option for B to take a villager out. Or other chance. Look at that. The spears just being able to completely kill that archer there with a single volley. Needs to be in mass if he wants to fight versus these Donzos.
Yep. This is the point, though. B has the second TC up, and Ottoman now has this kind of choice to make where do you want to keep this pressure up in Feudal Age or make the transition to Castle, be able to have some more premium units out onto the field. And it's not like you just totally idle your production during Castle because you have going to Castle because you have military schools. They're going to continue to pump some units, so it's kind of deceptive to know if your opponent's going to Castle or not when they are Ottomans.
Yeah, that's true, but look at the food income. Magic. So many cattle, it's definitely paying off. Food income looking really solid right now. Overall, the income looking really, really strong for him. Roughly 500 resource per minute ahead right now compared to B. And yeah, it's going to show when it comes to the scaling of the army as well as the Castle Age timing here.
Yeah, and I believe this is kind of the point where now that Magic has those has the cattle ranches set on up, it will be where he starts to accrue on up. Once he's able to kind of have that defensive setup, it's get that Grand Fulani Corral down, make that food economy that much better.
Exactly, and it's such a dangerous composition to play against. Donzos and Javelin throwers. And at any one point, and we do see it now, triple barracks coming out. B goes into a lot of spearmen. Magic could just go for his own archers. And archer and javelin Donzo composition, there's just very little that beats that other than siege. Look at that. Yeah. Sapai immediately getting killed by the javelins here.
Yeah, I find that once you have this Donzo mass, it's just so hard to take any engagements. Like, they kind of make it to where the Sipahi can't step forward, they can't even get on top of the javelins, and they're always just taking, 10, 20% of the opponent's army out before the engagement happens.
Definitely helps quite a bit. So far, second TC has quantized in like having a 6 villager lead. Considering though that B took down 2 villagers, is a little bit less than that. I think there also was a little bit of idle time on TCs from B there. He killed 2 villagers, but was only ahead by like 1 villager there for quite a while. And now Magic is going to be the one on the defensive here. Going around the wood line, javelin throwers, once they get in there, they could kill a lot of villagers with every single arrow.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5 villagers. B hasn't yet reacted to this and lost a significant 7 villagers. Forget his second TC that he invested into, as that whole entire Vill lead that he had totally disappears.
He was distracted. He caught up a couple of reinforcements there with his spy and lost a lot of villagers now for that. Now the villager count is even, but Magic, he has the cattle. His economy is in a really good position, and he knows his position. He's not going to produce any more units. He's just going up right now.
Yep. Once you kind of get that damage on the other side, now it's on your opponent to make the move. Your opponent is pressured here, and if your Grand Filani Corral finishes, you get your Castle Age upgrades. B is going to struggle to push into this base.
Here we go. Grand Filani Corral is going to be coming in. B, 24 spearmen right now. 27, even more coming in. This is a really good move to make against a javelin heavy composition. There's only a single archer right now for Magic. But with the tech advantage that Magic is going to get as soon as he clicks up to the next age, I don't think it's going to be enough. And let's not forget, Malians, they get their veterancy upgrades 50% cheaper and 50% faster.
That is indeed the case. B stepping forward with his army, though. Magic just continuing to fall back. New age begins. Sipahi circling around the backside, going for a raid on the gold vein. This is the perfect timing. They get so much damage down throughout all of this. Magic does react to it.
Oh, he did, but he lost so many villagers. Now suddenly B is ahead by 12 villagers. This time was actually good. That was good value here.
The Donzo, they pulled all the way back, though, during this, too. And the archers, the spears, they're on top of the Javs. And the Javs, they just overkill so much on the spears. The woodline's getting crushed as well from the archers. This is a perfect timing push by B.
So much value gained with that push. I mean, even though the military mass for Magic was just much superior, B got so much value out of that one, killed 13 villagers, and now finds himself with a 17 villager lead. Still tech behind, though.
He is a tech behind, but now the tempo is back in his favor. He doesn't have to worry about this huge unit mass knocking on his door as he's trying to age up. Instead, he can keep the tempo, he can keep the pressure, force Magic to continue to expend resources and not let him head towards his base.
Still just javelins, no archers yet. Sipahi making their way onto the javelin mass. Archers trying to take care of the Donzos, but there's still a lot of them remaining. You have to be really, really careful. It's a lot of micro going into this fight here right now.
Yep. Not as many Donzo left, still trying to get them massed on up, and the Javelin still just continually kiting back, continually trying to get the damage on in. My question is will B just keep making units and not even think twice about going up to castle?
I don't think he's going to be able to keep this up for a long time now. I don't think he's actually started yet going on to his second gear pack, but this is not sustainable for him right now, fighting under TC like that. He's going to lose a lot of archers. The archers are just there right now in order to take down the remaining Donzos, but he still has a lot of Donzos remaining. I think actually he has some Donzos in the TC right now.
Probably so, and the archers just chasing past through all of this TC fire. Plenty of vulnerable villagers, but B focusing more on the military now, as that is his main worry, but still has units all throughout Magic's base. And Magic, he's at 69 total population, whereas B, he's sitting at 99.
Yeah, the population advantage is definitely there for B, but let's not forget, there are cattle equal to the worth of like 20, 25-ish villagers right now on the side for Magic, so it's still pretty even right now when it comes to the eco, and now we see B finally going for the Castle Age play as well. That play from B, going into that timing push with the age up from Magic, going into all of these spearmen, actually equalized the game. it means that B still has a way to come back into this one, because earlier it looked really, really dire for him.
Yeah, I felt like it was over. I felt like there wasn't much that he could do to even kind of equalize it, but we saw exactly what he needed to do to equalize it. Magic, though, feeling okay. You know, once you've kind of stabilized, he's investing into the second tier eco techs. You know, that's when you're kind of feeling pretty good.
28 villagers on that age up. B, he's not playing around. He wants to get to Castle Age ASAP, and that's what we're going to be seeing here now. Also is investing into farms at the same time, so it is a big investment for him right now with the transition period as well. Magic, he's pushing forward. He doesn't need a transition. He's already getting all the food that he needs.
Yeah, and those farms for the Ottomans, they're not anything to write home about. They don't really gather that well for them, so they're just kind of normal food income that doesn't really do too much for them. They really rely on their military schools as their economic bonus, but he's lacking in the military numbers, needs to stabilize, needs to be able to push back out, but still has time that he needs to hold.
Mangonel isn't going to be coming out for like another 2 minutes here right now. Push going on to that second TC. I feel like there's enough Dunzos to probably take down that second TC if he gets a Javelin to tank for him.
And that was right when he made that farm transition. That's so many resources that would be lost. And B, he needs that food so bad right now. Magic, he spots it out. He's headed that way, and actually he chooses to fall back. Look at how much damage those jabs were taken from the TC. It was like a toothpick.
Yeah, and behind that though, Magic. He's not just like sleeping on his victory so far. He's also collecting relics behind that. 2 already collected, a third one going over his way right now. And with that, it looks like it's going to be a 4-1 relic game here.
Yeah, the 5th one, it is in front of that secondary TC that B built. But honestly, with the way this game's going, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Magic being able to secure it. He's back on the offensive. He's still ahead through all of that as far as the military goes. And the eco is very deceiving, as we talked about. Small gap on the wood line for the units to walk through, but not the greatest route to take when you're trying to escape and run away.
And look at that. B, he's investing into Men-at-Arms right now, but Magic, look at that. He's got 22 Musufati warriors out right now, and 10 more in queue. It's gonna be a mass Musufati play here, and look at that, they're stealth. They're invisible. They're invisible minus the Javelin thrower.
So he's looking for a good spot to damage the eco. Obviously, could go a long way doing that, and taking out reinforcing units instead. Going to be able to take some great traits here while taking the fight on the front side. There are some Janissaries here. We can hear that loud popping. The Javelin thrower is still overkilling a lot of units, but the Donzos being the front line needed. Sapahi diving on them everything they can. Magic did have the numbers at the start of this, but it's actually starting to tilt towards 3DB. Had a heavy front line there and proved to just be enough. Magic had raids going in on the base and was killing reinforcing units, but I feel like B, he's stabilizing here and starting to be the aggressor again.
Yeah, the main fight was actually so important here for B, and sure, Magic was able to take down some of the reinforcements, but Magic lost his main army, lost a lot of his Javelin mass, and now it's only Musufati warriors for him. It's a one-sided composition right now.
And one-sided compositions are never a spot you want to be in unless it's all knights, because we know all knights does end up being that only one-sided composition that works.
Yeah, Musufati warriors in mass, they're able to do a lot of damage. Just being able to hit so quickly as well. They do have fast attack speed. They're very, very squishy though. They die very easily to stuff like archers or Janissaries, and Janissaries are what Speed is going to be making here. Janissaries have very fast attack speed. The ideal unit to take down the Musufati warriors and any cavalry.
Yeah, mangonels are obviously going to be popping out from the MIA. They do great damage on the Musafatis when they're able to hit them, but still can get taken out so easily if you have any sort of misstep with your positioning because of that Musafati invisibility.
Yeah, Musafati, the mobility is really, really great here, but B, I feel like he's starting to really stabilize here. Like this, the last couple of minutes just went so well for B, and now he's close to 100 villagers. He's still getting passive military production. And looks like Magic, they don't call him the Keepmaster for nothing, is now building a keep on a lot of stone mines there. So potentially a lot of keeps to follow after that as well.
Yeah,
he's losing his Musafaris here potentially though.
Oh, good little circle, good split by B to get those Sipahi on top of those Musafaris. Might not lose all of them, but will lose a good bit, take a solid bit of damage.
Sipahi spotting 2 Donzos are gonna fall back for now. 4 relics and 2 sacred sites at the moment for Magic. Oh, Mangonel gets caught out. That's big.
Yes, it is. I mean, I feel like B's army, when you're ahead of Mali in the army numbers, you're always feeling pretty good for themselves. Because I feel like Mali, they're kind of that civ that they always have the military lead, not necessarily the eco lead. And that's where we can kind of see it right now with Ottomans having the ability to invest into walls behind all this pressure as well.
Yeah, one thing that we're not seeing at all from Magic right now is he's not reinvesting into any range kind of units right now. He's got 7 Janissaries, but nothing else coming out for him right now. Looks like he's also trying to go for Imperial, so Magic... Never mind, just when I said that, he suddenly invested like 2,000 resources back into units. The Caster's Curse strikes again.
Well, as you say that, I feel like he's going up to Imperial, so the Caster Curse strikes again.
It's always the opposite of what we think it's going to be. So yeah, it looks like Imperial Age right around the corner now for Magic. He's behind in military though, and you never want to be behind in military with the Ottomans in the later stages of the game, because they can just get this really, really big death toll going, and I feel like Magic, he really oh, big Mangonel shot. He really needs some archers here. He's pulling the villagers forward. He's taking a fight. The Mangonel does a great job here, taking out a lot of the units, but still, it feels like the front line from Magic got decimated there by the archers, by the Janissaries.
Yeah, B's actually able to split into a couple different army masses, and yes, he might be losing this one fight, but that's because he has half of his army elsewhere taking other fights. He sees the Fort of the Huntress.
He's gonna be able to take down the villagers here. Villagers turning around and trying to make a run for it. And a lot of them are gonna go down yet again.
Look at the orange groupings on the map, though.
All
sees this. Everyone comes here, and Magic, he doesn't have the numbers like we said earlier. He's going to Imperial without the eco numbers. Mangonel on its way. Fort of the Hundreds, it's only a quarter of the way. Villagers, they need to pull back.
Oh, big Mangonel shots, though, on the range part from B's army. Are he trying to run around?
Reinforcements on the way. Mangonel shot is a fail on the next one, but now B's Mangonel has arrived. The Springeld's not able to shoot it yet. First Mangonel shot's down. All the Citra magic gets taken out. The villagers, they're all about to go down. They are all dead now. The Fort of the Huntress has been denied, but can Magic hold this? Can Magic remass back up and take this position? I'm not thinking so.
More units coming up from both sides here, but the Ottoman mass, the Ottoman reinforcements, it's just superior here. Look at the income right now from B. He's getting so many resources on every single resource type, and with that, he's just able to infinitely reinforce this fight here.
We saw the Doubt Barbican of the Sun earlier, and now we're seeing the Doubt Fort of the Huntress here by IamMagic, as he is having to commit all of his units to this, and as Mali, you don't want to have to commit to fights all the time. You're more that hit-and-run army, take some good trades, not take a full-on head commitment, and you could see the military, you could see the overall unit composition.
He pulls more vilts! You know, he pulls more vilts, and now the landmark is getting torched down. He's not going to get the resources back for it.
He's only got 100 total units out on the field. B, he has, again, the perfect timing here to take this game and get a leg up back on the series.
Magic, once again, he's trying to go for it. B, he's going to notice, he's got to pull all his units onto the villagers. Any moment
circle.
now. Archers now focusing the villagers. Oh, they're running away again.
And
Magic, he has no villagers working.
Yep, you're going to have men-at-arms. You're going to have Sipahi just constantly chasing those villagers. Circle around towards the Mangonel first. Archer's just waiting by the Fort of the Huntress. And Magic, he's scrambling. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have anything to do, as this is looking like game. This is absolute devastation.
And with that, game number 3 is going to be won by B here.
Any second
Any
now.
moment now. Yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Those villagers tried to heal up the mangonel. They might go try to circle around for the Fort of the Huntress yet again. But all we are seeing is Magic's numbers fall and fall and fall. And soon, B, he's going to be able to go imp himself. And I'm pretty sure he'll go to imp before Magic can finish this.
He's not seeing the builds.
It's
going to go up. It's going to go up.
Oh, there's a mangonel still.
Yeah, it's not going to be in time. It's going to try and turn around, but the Fort of Hunter is going to go up here. Oh.
It does finish, but as one of my sayings always is at what cost?
He's just gonna torch it down. He doesn't care. He's gonna end it. He's not gonna run all the way to the base of Magic. He's gonna finish him off right there.
Some more Donzos trying to remask back up. A Culver in queue, so Magic wants to take that siege superiority, but I don't care how good your siege may be, you got to be able to defend that siege, and there's no defending it against this Ottoman military mass that we have in front of us.
Yeah, it would take some huge mangonel shots to win that, but look at that, he's pulling the villagers! He's just gonna send them over to the gold after that, and 3 sprinkles means that the mangonels aren't gonna get a good shot here. Fort of the Huntress is gonna go down.
When you triple your opponent's villager count, you're fine to pull villagers to burn down their Imperial Age landmark. That could have been the Red Palace, and I wouldn't have complained about pulling villagers there.
Mango is getting some shots in, but getting taken down at the same time. It's just the mass Janissaries, the mass archers. Magic, this game, he never made archers. He's now going for the Musafati gunners, but he can't afford that. He can't make many of them. Now the mango goes down. Now the keep goes up by Magic. Look at that. He's actually making a keep and a TC there, trying to reboom, but I'm not feeling it at this point. B, 132 villagers to 47, 200 pop to 76.
It's still crazy how far ahead B is, and I still feel like Mali is like producing a good amount, was able to keep themselves in it for a lot longer than what I was expecting. But now we have finally gotten to the point where, I mean, we've seen the writing on the wall for a couple minutes now, ever since that Fort of the Huntress play, and B, he's just closing in on the base. He needs some siege. He's investing in the Rams, and once the Rams are out, that's game.
Yeah, the siege workshops at the front side as well. Now can't produce any siege out of those. They're gonna get picked up immediately. And B, he's just pushing in further in now.
I feel like this is just one of those mental plays by Magic. He's like, look, you know, I know this is over, but I'm going to make you earn it. And, you know, B's sitting there. He's like, just forfeit. It's over. Like, come on now. Just getting frustrated over there. But he's not. He's playing it slow, methodically, doing the correct things, not overstepping, making sure to finish this game correctly.
I think at this point in time, B could just go for the kind of PM play and wait until he gets like 10 great bombats out. Just take landmarks.
And look at all of the upgrades coming into the bank for B. That's the difference with these Imperial Ages. Magic, he barely got imp. B, he got imp nice, untouched behind this, has all of the resources, all of the eco in the world to do whatever he wants. Full farm transitions behind this. I don't care that he doesn't have farm bonuses. He has more than enough farms to do whatever he wants. Relic's going to start being denied. Pit Mine's going to start being denied. And Magic will be falling in game number 3.
Any moment now.
Rebuilds the pit mine on the west. Maybe B just won't look in the west side ever, and you know, maybe that gives him a couple extra minutes, but B, he's just headed towards the landmarks. He's just gonna go to end this game. Taking more trades again. Magic only got 34 total military units, only 87 total units overall, and soon it might just be the cows that go down with them.
Yeah, once the Cal go down, there's truly no coming back. Now, I know Magic, he probably just stayed in because he had like 4 relics, right? He only had a single relic. And in such a position, you do feel like it's probably not game over yet. Us as casters, we see everything, so we know the actual position that he has in this game right now. It's not a great one. Now he loses the remainder of his military. And yeah, with that, soon the cattle, as you said, they're going to go down. And once that happens, there's truly no economy left for Magic.
It's crazy how back and forth this game went. You mentioned how he never was building archers. Well, he's still not. He is still on the Musafati gunners. He's dropping quad archery ranges, trying to build that number up, but not going to be able to. But yeah, I felt like there were so many good trades that Magic took early on, but he just never was able to get the perfect timings. Whereas B, he pressured at the right times. He took the good trades that made him slowly eke back into the game.
Can we take a look at the Musafati Gunners? They're stealth. Once they're stealth, because the Fall of the Hunters, they get their next attack does like 32 extra damage. Okay, we didn't see it because they already did fire the next attack. But this one? Oh no, the Fall of the Hunters is down. The buff doesn't get applied.
Oh.
We're so used to the buff like staying there with like stuff like the Rat Palace, by the way, which still has the emplacements after it goes down. But yeah, not for this landmark, I guess. And with that, like the Musafati Gunners, they're just gonna get taken down here.
Yep, the relics get denied. The first set of cows get denied as well. And I love the Sipahi when they get their elite upgrade. Such a cool looking unit. And then the rest of the cows, B, he does not want any beef left alive on this field.
And with that, game gets called just as the relics also are starting to get sniped. And with that, game number 3 goes over to the B. And with that, we're going to be at a match point now for 3DB. Next game could already end the series.
Yeah, so I know the other week I casted all the series went to game 5s. Well, at least we're getting some game 4s here today. No guaranteed game 5s yet, as Magic will need to pull off another solid win in like he had in game 2 to equalize this on up.
Exactly. I mean, village account. Can we take a look at the eco count? Because the eco count also takes the cattle into account. And there we go. We see the cattle. I mean, now that we get like this picture, it looks like Magic was still in a good position for a while there. But then when the Imperial Age happened, losing so many villagers just kind of finishes you off.
Yeah, and you can also see that Castle Age play that we were talking about. That's when the Sipahi circled around. That was when the main engagement happened on that front wood line. And it was just where the gold villagers got taken out. Magic also lost the frontward fight, and it allowed more villagers to get taken out. And that was what really allowed B to kind of recoup from the position that he was in.
Yeah, the military count here, just towards the end, we see like the stable military count from B always stuck at like pop 200. Never really deviating from that. Now we're going to be able to take a look at what we have in store for our next game here. And it's going to be, man, that's an exciting one. I'm excited for this one.
Yes, I'm definitely excited. Delhi, it's obviously a civilization. It sounds good when you come to like trying to take a sacred site quickly, but you don't have the extra gold income from multiple sacred sites. So you're very one-dimensional in your gameplay. But as I say that, I feel like B is never one-dimensional in his gameplay.
I mean, Delhi used to be like a kind of like 70-30 or like 60-40 kind of favorism for China in the matchup, China versus Delhi. But ever since they got the Ghazi Raiders, ever since they got the buffs to their landmarks, I feel like nowadays Delhi is in a really, really good spot against China. And especially in Empire Wars, I feel like they can definitely like contest or like put on aggression on China really, really early on. And China doesn't like that. China really doesn't like that, getting annoyed early on by your opponent's military. They want to take their time. They can go for early aggression, but it's gonna like kind of disrupt their game plan early on. But we're gonna see what exactly these players have in store for us as the game is just about to begin.
Yeah, we're kind of going to see these spawns, see if there's any advantages we can see, what we have in store for us for game number 4. IamMagic in the north side of King of the Hill as the Chinese, and 3DB in the southern side as the Delhi.
And here we go. We can look at the little bit of like the civilization differences here. So the Delhi, they already spawn with their mosque fully built and 3 scholars inside of it. Already have all their buildings that they need in order to queue a lot of upgrades, which they do get for free. Also, a barracks here coming out from B immediately. This is a nice play because it means that Magic, should he go for like a Barbican play in the middle, he's not going to get it for free. And he is also investing into his own Spearman. So we might be seeing the Barbican play in the middle. But if push comes to shove, B could always just pull 2 of his Scholars in order to heal his Spearman in the middle.
Yeah, I was literally thinking that exact same thing. Obviously, Magic's benefit is the supervision, but B does exactly what you were saying. He scouts out the play, he sees the play. He actually has a villager of his own that has a spearman starting to attack that, but the scholars are coming forward. And scholars, they might not have the same effect in the fights of old days in the in-combat healing, but B is so good at pulling back these lower health units, as you can already see. Getting some heals on in, making sure those units don't go down, and taking good trades as I jinx it.
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, Magic is doing a good job here of running away with his units as well. And then the Scholars, they have to run behind the units that they do want to heal, which definitely doesn't feel good here. And this trade is very good for B right now. Look at that, Magic with the supervision on his barracks. He just has so many more Spearmen out right now.
And the Scholar goes down, the Villager goes down.
Behind that, B, he's aging up with Dome of Faith. He's almost up right now, and I feel like this was the difference maker. Magic heavily invested into that Dark Age play, and he's gonna get rewarded for it. Winning that middle kind of play and gets the Barbican up in the middle. That could be devastating for B later on.
Yeah, and losing the Scholar, it might not seem like much, but usually Delhi, with Empire Wars, they're getting these techs in quite quickly because they start with 3. Well, only one of those was actually housed inside of a mosque. We're seeing another spear clash where B doesn't have the numbers, does take a winning trade, and should be able to heal up the spears, but the Scholars weren't making the techs come in quicker, and now he loses one of those for the game.
Yeah, definitely does hurt. Now he has his Scholar inside of his barracks, so he's going to be able to produce a little bit faster. He's going to have to wait, though, for the upgrade to come in. The Hardened Spearman upgrade. It's going to take a little bit longer for the Delhi. Even with that Scholar inside. Magic, 10 Spearmen right now. He's going to be able to upgrade them as well. Upgrade's going to come in supervised as well.
Yeah, so Magic, he has the numbers here. Choosing to take the fight. And B, again, just isn't going to quite have exactly what he needs here, but the Scholars pull back again. One of the Scholars is super low health. It gets taken out, so 2 Scholars fall. Yeah, Magic may have lost some spears for that, but picking up those Scholars is so huge, as Delhi has such a key focus with that.
Upside for B is he went for the Dome of Faith, so his Scholars are cheap to reproduce, and he doesn't have a second mosque with that as well. Now we do see Imperial Academy coming in and archer range, meaning Jugunu are going to be coming in soon. We also see B making his own archers and Ghazi Raiders.
Yep, Song Dynasty online for the Chinese. So we're going to start seeing this Vil lead that Magic already has continue to increase. And having the Vil lead as China before you have Song Dynasty, that's a rarity.
Yeah, definitely is. With that, though, I mean, look at that. B. Oh, no. B. He forgot to queue his eco upgrades with the Delhi.
Oh, no. You're right. That's one of those that so many things were going on that he just has this little slight oversight. So it doesn't even matter that your Scholars aren't in there. The techs aren't coming in at all.
This could be devastating if he notices, and I hope he notices. Right now, he's just scaling his military forces. But he's not going to be able to count on those eco upgrades coming in the future.
Oh, and loses a scout. Will lose some vision throughout this. Some archers do come to play, so those spears that are forward for Magic can get cleaned up pretty easily. They're starting to kind of dive on one of the archers, but still not good trades you want to take, and Magic is forced to fall back away.
Look at that, though. Look at that. B. He's walled out Magic from the middle.
Oh, yeah, there's no way these spears are going to get denied, like, from building this wall, and this is a play that I wasn't even close to thinking about playing as the Delhi, you know, utilizing that military to have very aggressive walls, and now where's Magic going to go? How is Magic going to control the middle?
gonna have to break through these walls to go very, very long way around. This is gonna be very, very... I'm saying very a lot, but yeah, this is gonna be very annoying for him, indeed. And man, oh, Spearman, paying attention, lose a couple to some archers there. He's gonna need a big mass of units there if he wants to take down the Barbican in the middle, or at least the ram.
Yeah, I mean, with some scholar healing, sometimes you'll see that happen, and B does have 6 scholars. He's got 14 spears, and if Magic can't get reinforcements there, he could probably just out-heal the Barbican with a few villagers inside.
Yeah, 6 scholars is more than enough to out-heal. I think 4 scholars are more than enough to out-heal a Barbican completely, and with that, he could be able to just take down the landmark and take control over the middle side here. And it looks like that's what he's going for. All the units now rallying onto that landmark. Or not.
Yep. Some of the spears are arriving for Magic, so we'll either be able to jump inside or jump in and out throughout all of that. The scholars aren't being rallied yet. Maybe the blacksmith text will make B realize that he forgot the eco text.
Clicked one, but he didn't click any eco upgrades yet. It definitely hurts. Definitely hurts. And it looks like B is going to try and keep Magic from entering that middle part of the map now.
I'm wondering if he just re-walls on these like 2 little short walls right there.
Yeah,
up to the next hill.
He's also getting textiles now. Might be expecting to get raided. There we go. Wall comes in. Just as Magic goes away again. Quickly walls it fully up again.
The Chooks, though, they get a good amount of damage in, and I mean, yeah, he might have gotten that wall up, but lost 5 spearmen or so for it. Or not spearmen, archers.
Yeah, and you do need the archer mass against these Jugunu.
Yeah, even worse to lose those archers. He's only got 13 archers. The Chooks outmass that number. The Sipahi, or the Ghazi Raiders, haven't really been able to find anything. They're that frontline damage, but there's so many spears.
It's going to become very, very difficult now for B. At this point in time, now that the wall has been destroyed, he's not going to be able to take down the Barbican with units alone. He's going to have to look at it differently. But what could he really go for? B still hasn't queued the eco upgrades. I feel like this is going to bite him really, really hard. Like, not getting those. He could already have all of them researched by now.
And that's probably what he's thinking. That's probably why he hasn't noticed, is they're usually done at this point, so he's just assuming they're done.
Definitely gonna hurt him a lot. At least once he ages up, he should notice, but he needs it before.
Magic's starting to move forward, and this is just so much lost tempo for B, because if he was able to deny that Barbican, that's villagers that go down, that's sacred site that starts to tick, that's gold that starts accruing in the bank for him that isn't extra resources or isn't extra eco he had to invest into. But instead, Magic's just been sitting, chilling, slowly eking out a villager lead, and really in China's comfort zone.
Yeah, he's actually now starting to push into B's base. Now, this could be an overextension from Magic. If he gets caught out, this could be a cleanup. But then again, with the amount of units that he has here, he should be able to still win a fight. But look at that, B. Behind all of this, he kept making scholars. He's on 11 scholars right now. If there's a big fight and he just pulls every single scholar, that could potentially give him an edge.
Yes, it could. But for now, both of these armies just kind of at this standoff. Magic has the top of the hill, though, and that is his benefit. He's the one in control. Once Castle Age starts being thought about, which I feel like Magic is starting to kind of have those thoughts, then he is the one who's in that control.
Yeah, indeed. 14 Ghazi Raiders, nothing to sneeze at, but there are a lot of Spearmen out from Magic. A lot. Archers are able to take down Spearmen quicker than Jugunu. So this does help B in that regard. He's also continuing to wall. Look at that. He's starting to make these little onion walls. Has to be careful though. Doesn't want to lose his units here.
And again, just loses a couple more units while he's trying to build up these walls. Ghazi Raiders trying to circle. There's still the Spearman mass though. And the Spearman mass, they're perfectly positioned to where the Ghazi Raiders, they can't close the gap. So again, B, he just bled so many units during that fight, I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of units indeed, and now behind that Magic, he's getting close to aging up.
I mean, this is starting to look really good for Magic, really good for our viewers who want to see this go to a game number 5. As again, the Ghazi Raiders can't close, can't find any damage, and Magic has the eco lead, has the military lead, and has the resources in the bank that's leading as well.
Magic continues to push further in. Archer's trying to thin out the Spearman mass, not going to be able to do so though. Now it's only the Jugunu in the front line. Now Astronomical Clocktower is coming in. Looks like B is also trying to now take a fight here. Ghazi Raiders are coming from the backside. Spearmen, there's still a lot of Spearmen remaining though. 27 Spearmen. Ghazi Raiders aren't going to be enough and they're going to run away again. Got the military mass from B. We have to look at the count right now at the top side and deduct 15 because 15 of those are scholars.
Yeah, oh, wow. That makes it in such a worse perspective now for B, as he's been losing these trades and Magic's going up behind this. Magic's going to immediately be able to take the sacred site, start ticking, get these passive relics, get the passive resources into the bank, and he still has the faster TC production.
And now HO comes in. This is the moment when B wants to take a fight. It's the only chance, really, that he has to take a good fight here.
The problem is it actually a good fight here when he's still down in the numbers? The Spear's still in great positions where the Ghazi Raiders can't do anything at all. Haven't been able to get to the Chooks using the Stone Vein to kind of make it hard to have good pathing on top of those Chooks as well. And soon enough, Magic's upgrade's going to come through. He's still taking good trades here.
I don't think it was even supervised, but yeah, the upgrade's going to come through, and he's still winning the fight even without the upgrades. And even if he doesn't win the fight, he's already got a lot of reinforcements going towards the middle.
Yeah, the Ghazi Raider number has disappeared. It's down to 4, 3, about to be 2, and 1 here soon enough. The frontline mass of B is gone. And now these Chooks are that much more effective with the veterancy upgrade through now.
And with that, B is going to get banished to the Shadow Realm in this one.
Yeah, this is looking like Magic securing game 4, going in and tying the series to extend it to a 5th game. And there it is. It is the case. We are going to have the first series that's going to go to game 5 this weekend.
This feels really, really rough if you're in B's shoes right now, because he had that. Rather, he had the potential to win that. Just not getting those eco upgrades, not pulling the scholars, going for that really fast feudal age, kind of losing the middle. There were just a couple of things that didn't work out for him here in this game, and they all added up, and means that Magic is going to win this one in a convincing fashion. And to be fair, China on a map like this is really, really strong.
Yeah, I mean, that was one where just a couple of different things added up to just have this cascading effect that made it look really, really easy for Magic throughout. And, you know, that's where obviously clean up the little of these mistakes, get that game pass. You have that kind of goldfish memory where you don't think about it and you just move right on to the next game. And we'll see what civs we have in store for this final match of the series. There you can see the military graph just kind of pretty even, kind of falling in line with each other until Magic just took the great trades while aging up.
What was the last map remaining? Was it Mongolian Heights again? I think we're getting another Mongolian Heights game here.
I'm trying to think of it. I'm not really memory's not doing too well.
It's Regions.
Okay.
It was Regions.
So
Goldfish memory. There we go.
Goldfish, you know, it's not only the players, the casters need a goldfish memory too here. So just get right past it, and we're gonna see a battle of the ages. It's French versus English. Very, very always interesting to see this matchup here. And in Empire Wars, it obviously is played out a little bit differently, but still very similar.
Yeah. Regions is an interesting one with the English because you do always have the chance of still getting a lot of gold, even if you can't take these 3 huge gold veins in the middle. If you get to Imperial Age, if you get that enclosures upgrades on your farms. Getting there is difficult though, especially against a civilization like the French on a map like Regions. where there are a lot of resources in the corner, a lot of food resource in the corner. French can take advantage of that with quite a lot of different ways. Like, they tend to have the map control in this kind of matchup. And if they get these kind of resource in the corners, they don't have to go for like a quick farm transition or anything like that. It puts English in a lot of trouble because like the English's main eco advantage is that their farm transition is cheap. If their opponent never needs to make a farm transition, that entire bonus kind of gets thrown out the window. And yeah, this could definitely be a situation in which French have the upper hand against English. And this is not just any French. This is B's French. We've seen B a lot on the French. Every single time we see it, it's a little bit weird, but it is always full of aggression.
Yeah, he's always doing something out of the ordinary, but it's always very, very interesting to watch. And you mentioned them having the map control, them kind of being able to take control. Well, regions is, I would say, one of the maps, if not the highest map up there, where map control is of the utmost importance. You mentioned the 3 big gold veins, the stone, but also the food in either corner. It's a really cool, like very well designed map, very interesting to watch, and I think it does lean towards French's kind of strengths at times. But also with that gold being central, it's a very good kind of pressure point for the other side as well. If Magic takes a good early fight with English having a bigger feudal focus when it comes to Empire Wars, if he's able to win some of these early fights, he can potentially deny gold from French for the long haul, and that's just game.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the good things here for the English on this map. Usually English, they struggle with map control because it tends to happen to be contested on many different sides at the same time. On regions, all the map control that you want to get is around one side in the middle, around these gold mines. So this kind of gives English a little bit of a benefit here because usually they like have to split their armies slower, but centralizing their attention to just a single point on the map could give them a little bit of an advantage here compared to like normally when we see them against like stuff like Delhi and they have to like split their attention across 3 sacred sites. Here at the beginning of the game, or rather for the majority of the game, it's all about those 3 gold mines.
Yeah. But enough about the game. We got a little bit of time until then. In the meantime, you know what's a great thing to do? It's either, well, first, if you got the Twitch Prime sub laying around here, you can always kind of just, click that little button below, as it doesn't cost anything for you. It's just one of those that if you got it, you might as well use it. It's a great way to support the channel. And if you're feeling a little more generous, there's the new, well, I guess I say new, it was kind of introduced a few weeks now, but it's starting to have more and more people sign on up, but exclamation mark Patreon. And it is the #1 best way to support the Age of Empires 4 community scene and future tournaments as well.
Yeah, your support over on Patreon directly influences EGCTV's ability to bring you all of these amazing tournaments. Just every little bit helps a ton there. Pasty's going to be able to bring us a lot more tournaments with more support over there on Patreon. So if you do have some money to spare, if you do want to support the Age of Empires 4 tournament scene, Patreon is definitely the way to go for EGC.
Yes, it is. And if you don't have the money, obviously we enjoy y'all supporting the channel just by watching, just by sticking around, seeing these great games. This is only series number 2 of 3 and potentially 4, depending on how extended these series go. Obviously, we got 3DB and Magic going into their game number 5, but after this, it is another fan favorite of the Mista and Wham in their matchup in their round of 16.
Exactly. One last addition to the Patreon shout out. If we do reach 50 Patreons by the end of the Empire Wars tournament, Pesty is going to immediately announce to you guys the next Age of Empires 4 tournament from EGC. So that's going to definitely be something to look forward to if we reach those 50 Patreons in that time.
I mean, I'm all in for that immediate announcement. If I don't know if gifting Patreons is a thing, but that's something we need to look into as well as getting that number pumped on up. It's a great way to have these players rewarded. But enough of that. We are about to be into this 5th game, the final game of the series between IamMagic and 3DB.
And here we go. Game number 5. IamMagic versus B on regions. We got IamMagic Over here on the bottom side of the map, playing as the colored teal, playing as the English. On the opposite side, we do have 3DB playing as the French. We can once again go over the differences here for the civilizations playing in Empire War. So we do see B already with a little bit of a villager lead. That's because the French, they do spawn with 3 additional villagers. They also get a free mining camp over on the stone as well as a blacksmith. So that does help them out quite a bit. On the opposite side, the English, they spawn with a full set of farms.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to be able to afford all of these units once Feudal Age happens. In regular 1v1s, once you hit Feudal, usually you have enough resources for, a couple longbows, a couple spears, if you're deciding to invest into that. Well, now you don't have to make these choices. You can see Magic having the ability to create units, as we saw the barracks being dropped, as well as being able to invest into other eco, other macro behind this. But for now, it's men-at-arms that are going to start running across the map.
A couple of men-at-arms could be early on in time to deny any knights from coming out for B. Looks like B already shifted over to stone, so it is going to be a second TC play from him. Also means so that if he's not gathering any gold, that those men-at-arms could influence the position of that second TC.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the biggest thing when it comes to those secondary TCs that I find to have this great long-term effect. Your TC positioning is such a big importance over the long term of the game. It's one of those that if you have a bad TC placement, it's just going to be the end of you.
We do see those men-at-arms immediately making their way over towards towards those deer, and looks like B is investing into some horsemen. But it doesn't stop at just those 2 men-at-arms. Magic is queuing a third one. And with that, as soon as he ages up, he's going to be able to upgrade them to veterancy.
Yeah, I mean, B, he's going to have the micro to just pull back any low health villagers and get to the point he needs. And it looks like with that many villagers, he's just going to commit to the TC build on the deer. And any ones that are somewhat low, just pull back, because now he has the horseman out. He's going to have a knighting. Actually, he doesn't even queue up a knight as of now. He's just focusing on the horseman for the mobility first.
And looks like Magic is letting the TC go up uncontested right now. Probably thought that a knight could be coming out. Not the case, though. And he just keeps on massing units right now. This is one of the great strengths with English here in Empire Wars. Having that full set of farms immediately means that they immediately have the resource to just keep on pumping out these units. Outpost now also coming out here from Magic. Does reconsider the location of that one, though. Could look to deny the gold there, but there is a second gold for B all the way in the back.
I love that Magic's swapping onto spears. I find that a lot of people are like, well, now I already have like a melee front line. I'll just start, keep up that men-at-arms mass and go longbows. But that just invites 3DB to only mass knights, because knights trade efficiently into men-at-arms as well as longbows. So you really do need your spears to protect your longbow mass.
Exactly. Now archers also coming out from B, so is going to make a very composition here. Is going to have those archers against those spearmen. But longbowmen, with the superior range, are definitely going to be able to take some favorable trades there. Now B getting pushed off of the gold there. Hasn't clicked any other eco upgrades right now, other than wheelbarrow. He's going to have to go all the way to the bank if he wants gold now.
Yep. Could have potentially gotten a spearman pickup, but not the biggest importance. And it looks like B, he wants to get another blacksmith?
The reason behind making an additional blacksmith is that you don't actually get the free upgrade, the free melee damage upgrade, from the first blacksmith that you spawn with. Because the first one actually only gets triggered when you build the blacksmith, not when you actually spawn with it into the game. Knight goes down for B. It's just running around with the remaining knight for now.
That knight loss is actually a massive pickup, as that is such a high resource cost, such a big importance, but does look like B was able to pick up the villager that was moving forward for Magic to build this outpost to extend that network of castles bonus for himself. Getting some reinforcing units get picked off. The best counter against English.
Longbowman finding value there on the wood line from B. Wood line is very, very important for B to keep up. Without the wood, he's not going to be able to make any of his own archers, and he's going to need those against the spearman. Another knight almost goes down here.
Yeah, B is starting to get pressured quite heavily. He's trying to mass up archers behind this, trying to get to the point where his numbers can take this fight. He's starting to pick off some of the spears. If he can get all of the spears out in the mix, the horsemen, you can see it now, they're getting on top of the longbows. Only 1 or 2 spears here left in the mix. Not going to have the greatest effect at protecting those longbows. So B taking a really good trade here where Magic overstepped just a tiny bit.
That was amazing. The reinforcements, just being able... This is the thing, right? B was picking off reinforcements, and that meant that Magic had to group up his reinforcements. So they didn't arrive as early as they used to. This was such an immensely valuable fight here for B, because behind this, not only does he now have the military advantage, but look at that. He's almost 20 villagers ahead right now.
Yeah, was able to kind of obviously started with a few extra villagers, but with that second TC, with that number, just those TCs working that much harder as well, that number has climbed quite quickly, and Magic hasn't really had too much to show for with this pressure.
Exactly, and more men-at-arms are being made. Magic, he has to commit now to the military aspect of this one. Getting more and more men-at-arms out. Men-at-arms doing well both against the horsemen as well as the archers.
Yeah, this is the point, though, where now B has reclaimed his gold. He hasn't really been able to make the knights, hasn't really been able to get a lot of these blacksmith upgrades because of the forward gold. Was right where kind of Magic was rallying a lot of the army, was where his main focus was. Well, B's back on the gold, so let's see what he's going to start clicking when the gold comes in. I would assume maybe some ranged armor being a bigger priority to start.
It's a big massive horseman here right now. Yeah, ranged armor coming in now from Magic as well. It's also going out to the deer. Grabs survival techniques upgrade. It's gonna boost the income there. Still no eco upgrades from B, and I mean B, he's got a lot of villagers this game, right? So any eco upgrade that he doesn't have right now, doubly so hurts him.
Yeah, it does look like he's moving out to the boar, so giving himself some extra food income. As you mentioned before the game even started, French's huge benefit on this map especially is their ability to take a lot of the resources, take the map control. And so if he's able to do that, that's leaning into this benefit even further. Horsemen trying to take out some reinforcing units, but some spears, some men-at-arms were already ready and waiting. And so Magic, good job at defending this attempt this time by B.
Magic still messing units now. 15 men-at-arms out on the field. B definitely needs knights again, and he does start producing knights once more. If he gets up to like 10 knights, then he can start thinking about taking some fights again. For now, he just needs to delay Magic. Needs to keep him back in his base. Magic does spot out that B is once again starting to make knights. Needs to invest into Spearman again. Does so right now.
Yeah,
has to be careful not to get caught out of position.
Yeah, the hard part gets is when you start trickling those units forward again, because he is pushing forward with this mass again, trying to get on top of that gold. That is what B needs to make those knights. Has to reposition to the other backside gold. Looks like he's barely able to get out with no villagers lost, but the horseman circles around the backside. Archers aren't here in support. The knights dive into a few of those spears on the front end, but here comes the rest of the army for B. So going for the longbows, which is the kind of main damage that IamMagic has.
And the men-at-arms now starting to fight the knights and the horsemen. Not just the horsemen. This is going to hurt him because all the men-at-arms are going down to the knights. Already 6 knights out on the field. They're doing amazing damage here against these men-at-arms, and they're just not... The men-at-arms just don't do enough damage to these knights. At the same time, archers also microing against the longbows, able to win that fight as well.
Yeah, I love the micro by 3DB during all of this. He has the micro to focus in on all the longbows with the archers. Rallying units are still coming into the fight. The knights are attacking exactly what they need to on that front side, and the trades just went so well for him, and Game 5 goes so well for him as well as 3DB takes the series.